All right. Hello, everybody. So I'm going to share with you my old strength report and my new strength report. In this video, I'm going to show you how I am using my old strengths and my new strengths together. This has been such an evolution for me. When I first started taking the strengths assessment, I was telling everybody, you only have to take it once. Don't take it again. You don't have to take it again for the rest of your life. And I've learned some things since then. I've learned that there's a massive benefit to taking the strengths assessment again. And there's also a massive problem that can happen if you don't take the strengths assessment again. In this video, I'm going to share with you both. I'm going to go over both. What is the goods and the bads, right, of both? And then I'm going to share with you my old strengths report over here and my new strength report over here. And you'll be able to see them both. And I'll share with you how I am using them to help myself use my strengths more efficiently, more effectively, and overcome some of the issues and problems I had. First, let me just tell you real quick, I did have a couple of hesitations. My first hesitation was I had spent, 8 years of my life focusing on developing my old strengths, and I really didn't want to see them change. So I was a little nervous in taking it again. But I realized that by holding on to my old strengths report, I was holding on to who I was and really not honoring who I'd become since then. A lot of changes in my life, a lot of things have happened, shifts in a lot of things in my life have happened. And so, of course, I would take a strengths assessment again. By the way, for those of you that are watching here live, have you either taken it again or have you thought about taking it again? And you're here to understand a little bit more about that. Let me know right now in the comments. Share little thoughts, comments, tell me, say hi, let me know if you're thinking about this. And so there's that first piece, right? And I learned that by holding on to that old one, I'm missing out on something new. And then when I took it again, those strengths that I had that were high, 5 of them moved out of my top 10. And I do not feel any sense of loss of either identity or even value. I feel like those strengths just kind of moved to another shelf in my we'll call it shelves of importance. Okay, that's really important. I'll share that with you in a minute. And the other fear I had was that if I take the strengths assessment again, does my knowledge of strengths affect the validity of the assessment? So after 177 times answering those questions and those questions being timed, I can tell you right now that wasn't an issue at all. The first few questions I answered, I thought about certain strengths. But when I started to think about certain strengths, like, oh, I wonder what they mean by that. I think I know what strength they're talking about. The question timed out and I wasn't able to answer it. And I missed out on answering the question because I was so in thinking about what strength that was. So the reality was I just let go. I said, forget it. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to answer the questions honestly. Hi, Jan. Jan says, living and learning and growing. Yes, awesome. Okay, so for those of you that are watching right now, if you have taken it again or are thinking about taking it again, let me know in the comments. I'm about to share with you my old report and my new report and how I'm using them together. So those 2 issues I had, I really had to get over those 2 issues because the main problem that I was feeling was I was having a problem with 1 or 2 of my strengths. In particular, learner. I love learner. It's one of my favorite strengths by far. But I was starting to feel a little bit of a disconnect with it because although I love learning, I was feeling more of a sense of urgency to do things. And I thought that maybe if I took the strengths assessment again, some executing strengths would move in. It turned out that wasn't true. But I learned after taking the strengths assessment again, I saw that learner moved out. That was one of 5 that moved out. And I'm like, that makes sense. And when it moved out and I looked at my new set of strengths, it gave me a sense of renewed enthusiasm. Like I remember when I first got introduced to my strengths, I didn't know what they were. I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm excited to find out. Now that I understand strengths so much more, this has really given me a renewed sense of myself, gotten me more excited about doing things that, like growing my business, growing my health, improving my marriage, my parenting with my children, and so on. So I think it's time I go ahead and share with you my old strengths report over here. Let me go ahead and respond to a couple comments. So L says, I just took it again after 5 years and lots of changes in life. Okay, L, let me know of some things you noticed that changed. We're going to talk a little bit about how do we use the old report and the new report. We're going to use them together. You don't have to throw away the old one like I used to tell people. Okay, so Deb says, I retook it this past April. First time was 2018. Okay, cool. So you and I are about the same time frame, Deb. Jan says, that would be my hope too, more executing strengths. Well, if that's true, we'll see. And turns out that I was wrong. So let me go ahead and share with you on my screen here my old report, okay? So let me just tell you a little bit about who this Eddie was. I'm not sure how well you can see this, so I'm just going to go ahead and make this a little bit. Oops, excuse me. I just got all goofy here. What just happened? Oh, darn. Okay, let me fix this. I think I just made something silly. What did I do? Hold on. I had this all set up, I swear. Okay, I'm just gonna try oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. All right, so I'm gonna just try to see if I can't manipulate this. Give me just a second, y'all. I'm so sorry. Is this the old? Hold on. What just happened? Okay, camera. Oh, I see. Okay, camera A. Is that it? Nope. Camera B. Oh, there we go. All right, cool. Sorry. All right. Okay, so this is the old strengths report. Now I'm going to do this right. Okay, let me go ahead and bring this a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, so can you all see this? This is my old strengths report. And when you look at this old strengths report, let me move myself over a little bit. Okay, so when you look at my old strengths report, you'll see that I've got strategic, activator, futuristic, woo, self-assurance, learner, communication, competition, focus, and arranger. And so how I'm looking at this, I want you to look, so what I look at is the dominant domain, right? So I've taught you all to look at your dominant domain. In here, there are 5 influencing strengths. That means that 5 strengths are about moving people forward. So that's a dominant desire for me back then. And back then, we had just hit a rank called Blue Diamond in our network marketing business. And it was this network marketing company that introduced me to this strength. So I was thinking about building a business when I first did this. And our business was in a place where we really needed to see people move forward. And I was really heavy into personal study and self-development. So of course, we got a couple of strategic strengths in there. Let's see. L says 7 of the top 10 stayed in the top, all but 1 shifted. Of the 3 that changed, I feel like maximize replaced restorative, belief replaced positivity, ideation replaced. Yeah, you got some replacements, and I got that too. So thank you for sharing, L. Okay, so what is important here is there are, again, 5 influencing, 3 strategic thinking, which means I want to move people forward and think and create and learn. And with 5 influencing, that's a lot, okay? And I also got 2 executing strengths there at 9 and 10. These strengths are just about making sure things are done the right way, but with only 2 in the top 10, it's not a heavy dominant desire for me. So that's who I was. Back then, Unleash Your Strengths wasn't a thing. I didn't even know what strengths was. And I certainly didn't know that it was about to change my entire life and giving me renewed focus for what I really want to do. The only purpose I really had back then was to be a great dad, a great husband, and a great network marketing leader with a company called doTERRA. That was it. That was my main focus. And since then, I have taken on this passion of wanting to be something more than that and really make a difference in the world. Since then, I've started a company called Unleash Your Strengths. It's a massive business that's generated millions for me over the years and ultimately helped me do a lot of things. Jan says you needed to learn to share. Yeah, I think so. So I love, by the way, those of you that have been following me for years, I love hearing your take on my strengths. So feel free to keep sharing any thoughts you have. I really do watch. I pay attention to what you're saying. So, by the way, if you want to invite anybody to this live, I'm about to bring up my new report up here and kind of go over that in just a second. So here's some other things. Harmony was 34. Harmony was 34, which means that as a low harmony, it's the most draining thing for me would be to worry or over concern myself over what other people are thinking and feeling. Back then, I was really, really, let's just say, struggling with my over concern over what other people thought of me or felt about me. I was very, very, very worried about it. And so when I looked at this 34 strength and understand I didn't have to do that anymore, it really gave me a lot of value. Now, there's something you want to notate. There's 3 different classifications of strengths for me to help me understand the main shift between this and my new report that I'm going to bring up for you. This concept that I have just started working on is what I call the energetic practical, judgy accepting, internal, external of strengths. Now, I don't need you to understand all that, but I can tell you that by understanding that, which is actually quite simple, I have learned how to summarize this entire strengths report down to one single sentence. Now, by understanding how to summarize this entire strengths report down to one sentence, it helps me to look at what the old one does and what the new one does. So before I bring up this new report, and I really want to share with you what are the differences, I want to introduce you all to a concept. So some of you may or may not know this, but I actually have a certification program coming up called the Eddie Villa certification course. And we're about to go into our 7th version. And what we have done in the past is changing because we want to really make a difference in people's lives. So instead of going in January of 2025, we are starting on October 2nd of 2024. We're actually going to be taking people through the certification now, starting on October 2nd. And what's amazing is we already have 6 people who have already joined. So before I share with my second report, I want to share with you what comes with the 7.0 version. And then I'm going to invite you to a private call to hear more details. Let me just share this with you real quick because I'm super pumped about this. The Eddie Villa certification course is going to be where you're going to learn how to do 3 things. Okay. You're going to learn how to do 3 things. It's important that you understand this. 3 things. The first thing you're going to learn is how to know who you are, how to set proper boundaries, and be able to commit to being who you are without allowing other people to manipulate you or change you. It gives you confidence to stand in your certainty. The second thing it does is it helps you help others do the same. The third thing is this added skill of the certification program that I'm going to teach you of incorporating strengths the way that I teach it. It's going to add to your network marketing or your coaching business. In other words, you're going to learn how to generate an income with this skill. Now, the 7.0 group starts October 2nd. I will be able to give you all the details. All you got to do is go into the comments, which I'll drop when I'm done here. You're going to be able to register to a free call happening next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Just remember, so it's just going to be an hour, and all we're going to do on Wednesday is go over every detail of the 7.0. But here's just a few highlights of the things you're going to get. So obviously, you're going to get lifetime access to the Unleash Your Strengths community. You're going to get a lifetime access to the content, the videos, the trainings, the workbooks, and the worksheets. You're going to get private access to the 7.0 group, which means you're going to go through this with others. We're also going to give you a live call with me every single week. And in that live call, it'll be about 20 or 30 minutes of learning, plus about another 20 or 30 minutes of applying with mentors. So if you see the mentorship program, we're going to give you 2 mentors that are going to be there to guide you, support you through the program to make sure you are individually learning all the things that need to be applied. You're also going to get what's called the Hi-Ho. It's the Helping You Help Others group support call that happens with Jay Wright. She's amazing, and she'll be doing live calls with you every week just to support you. They're optional, but they're not required. You're also going to get tech support with Spring, and we're going to give you our Strengths Fundamentals course that you'll be able to sell. We're going to give you our brand new revised Good, Bad, and Ugly videos. You're going to get a full digital marketing system, a 12-week transformational program that I'm going to give you to be able to sell to others, and a digital download of the 7.0 workbook. These are just a few of the things, my friends, that you're going to be getting, just a few. And of course, this is going to go from October 2nd to December 18th. Every single day, you're only going to do about 20 minutes worth of work. And then the live calls are once a week for about 20 minutes. A really small amount of time investment. And you're going to graduate You're going to graduate with proof that you can make money with this, proof you can build relationships, proof you can improve your health, and proof you can make sure things are done the right way. So if you want to get access to those details and learn more, like how much is it and what other great things we're going to be offering, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the comments. I'm going to put it in the comments here for you. Let's see if this is where, no, I can't do it now, but I'll do it later. Put it in the comments now. I'll drop it below. Make sure you register. It's absolutely free, and we'll give you access to learn all the details. All right. Now, it's time to go ahead and look at the new report. Now, remember, 5 influencing, 3 strategic thinking, 2 executing. Here's what the new one is. Let me go ahead and let me make these a little bit bigger. I want to give you an opportunity to look at this a little bit more. There we go. Look at that. Yeah. Okay. So tell me if you can see that. All right. I'm going to move a little bit so I can bring it in a little bit more. Okay. Can you see it? So take a look at some of the differences already. All right. Let's see. All right, friends, work with me here and, engage with me. What are you already noticing? So I've put, as always, I always put the top 10 and the bottom 5. So what are you already noticing? I'm watching the comments here, watching the chat. What are you noticing? Well, the first thing you'll want to notice is while you're pointing out, because I already know you're going to point out some things. Some of you I have educated very well. I've taught so many of you how to understand strengths reports. And so many of you know me so well. You're already, looking at who I once was back in 2018 and who I've become now in 2024. And I already know you're coming up with all these theories and beliefs as to why these strengths moved. But five strengths moved out of here and 5 new ones moved in. So here is the other interesting thing that I've learned is that the bottom 5, right? Where is it? The bottom 5 has just had an injection of relationship building strengths. And where there were executing, now there's way more relationship building strengths in those bottom strengths, the bottom ones. But here's what I want you to see, the big difference here. There, instead of 5 influencing, there's now 6. 2, 4, 6. There's now 6 influencing, which means my desire to move people forward increased dramatically. This is why you see increase in very judgy, intense strengths like significance and command have made their way into my strengths report, including maximizer. So what's really, really important for me is to recognize that maximizer, significance, and command have moved into my strengths report, and this gives me the freedom to stand a little stronger in my beliefs, to be of more certainty for you, to tell you that if you really want to believe in yourself, if you really want to make a difference in other people's lives, this, my friends, this is the only way. This is it. I am never going to ask anybody to do anything other than this when they come to me and say, Eddie, how do I believe in myself? How do I help others move forward? My answer is always going to be this. This is it. There is no other way. If there was another way, I would tell you about it. I would use it. As far as I'm concerned, there is no other way. This is the best way to know who you are, to stand in certainty, to be your best self, to stop letting others control or manipulate you, to allow you to stand strong in your beliefs and your own certainty. But you're not doing it for just you. You're doing it for them. This is what I want to teach you how to do, is to use these 2 here and put them together. So how do we put them together? Well, 5 influencing on this side, move to 6 influencing on this side, which means my desire to move groups of people forward has dramatically increased. So in other words, my heart is saying, do more. So now that I understand do more, I'm even more emphasizing my desire to move people forward. Plus, and here's what's really important to understand, which you don't know this because you haven't joined my inner circle or my certification yet. But there are, in this report over here, there are what I call 5 energetic strengths. And in this one, there are 7, which means that my desire to use energy to help you and other people has increased. It's like a internal trust has happened. I'm trusting more in my gut and my feelings and my we'll just say my instincts when it comes to moving people forward. Now that I know that my instincts, right, in this new report, there's an increased desire to use my instincts in this new report, then I can ultimately rely on that more. So trusting my instincts is working. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to dial it up, and maximizer, significance, and command are going to be part of that. The second thing is that in the old report, this is interesting. In the old report, there were 8 what I call accepting strengths. And in this one, right, in this one, there are 5. What that means is that I've had an increase in what's called the judgy strengths. These strengths are designed to say, they're basically about judgy, is about having certain rules and belief systems that I now know to be true, that I can rely on, that I must teach you. You see, this represents the rules that I now follow far more intensely than over here because I've had an increase in judgy strengths. This means I get to walk with more certainty in my conviction. When I first took this strengths assessment, I would have told you it's a good idea to get your strengths. With this one, I'm telling you it's the only idea. It's the only way. The reality is, when people hire me to coach them or work with them, I refuse to work with them without this. I will not work with anybody without their strengths assessment. I refuse to read minds. I refuse to try to play games with people. I want to know the truth. And so what I want to do now is teach people how to understand this. So with this increase in judgy strengths, I have increased my desire to teach and stand in more certainty and solidarity with what my beliefs are, right? And of course, belief in my strengths report did move up. Let's move on to the next one. In my old report over here, I had nine internal strengths, which means that I was very much right here about doing things on my own. Oh yeah, very much about doing things on my own, not trusting anybody else, feeling like if it was going to be done, I had to be the one to do it. I had to be the one to inspire people. I had to be the one to move people forward. I had to be the one to teach people. It was about me being the one. This was a very needy Eddie, right here to prove himself. And so, of course, competition and communication were very high. And as you can see, those 2 strengths have moved out of my report, which means I'm not competing with anybody anymore. And I'm certainly not feeling the need to develop my own voice. I have the certainty with my voice. I have the certainty with my abilities. I'm no longer comparing myself. So I went from 9 internal strengths to 5 over here. Sorry, I'm doing this wrong. 5 internal strengths, which means that there's more external desires. That means that I'm willing to lean on more of the people around me. Those of you that are watching, those of you that have been following me, that commenting and sharing, like Elle right now, she says you're more confident in what you're doing. Now you're ready to explode. And Elle is right. Elle, seeing you and these other wonderful people like Deb and Claire and Jan, you all that are watching this, you've all been instrumental in my desire or ability to trust other people, to be willing to lean on others in support. So I have Jay and Spring and so many other people that have come into my world. And so with an increase in external strengths, which means I can trust people more, and I have visual proof that I am doing better with that. And so now that I know that, I'm going to take the old report and say, okay, this is who I was, and I'm going to use it to empower the new report and feel like, okay, I was less trusting than I am now, right? I was more reliant on myself than I am now. I was more willing to allow my ideas to be influenced by others than I am now. I'm a little bit more set in my beliefs because I've earned them. When you have a lot of accepting strengths, you must take chances. You must go out and explore and experience things. And I have certainly done that in the last 8 years. And so this increase in judgy strengths have shown that I have learned some things. I've earned some lessons that I want to teach you all. And so when you join this 7.0 group, right, let me go over here. when you join the 7.0 group, I'm going to take you through personally, one-on-one. I will personally walk you through how many of your strengths are judgy and accepting, how many are energetic and practical, how many are internal, external, so you can understand your strengths on the most basic, simple level. Whereas before, right? Whereas before I was very leaning towards one way, and now I lean towards another. And this has me excited. Command and maximizer and significance moving into my strengths report. Oh boy, you better believe I am going to be using my old and new strengths reports going forward. So I hope you all got some valuable information from this. You know, for me, look at the simplicity, 6 influencing strengths now and 3 strategic thinking and a nice little relationship building strength moved in there. Look at that. I got a blue one, whereas before I didn't have it. So now I got individualization. You got to wonder, right? What does that mean? So for me, it's seeing these two contrasting and helping me remember who I was, who I am now. And this here gives me a renewed, right here, this report, gosh darn it, what am I doing here? I'm doing it backwards. This report gives me so much excitement about the future. That's how I'm using the old one and new one. So here's what I want you to do. Share with me, what have you learned when you took the old report and the new report? What did you learn about yourself? Deb says 8 of her top 10 stayed in the top. What does that mean to you, Deb, right? Where did harmony end up? Now it's moved into my middle zone. Interesting, right? So what did you learn in the old report and the new report? What shifted for you? And how is that giving you certainty going forward? I want you to share that with me. If you have taken you've taken your strengths, but haven't decided to take the new one yet, let me know what your hesitations are. What's your fears? I'm not trying to change your mind, but I can tell you if you hold on to a new report for too long, you're denying who you've become a little more. You see what I mean? Before I would have said, take it if you want, but now it's the way of life. After 7 or 8 years, maybe it's time for you to look at it again. And I'll tell you what, I always share this with people. I have a $10 discount on strengths assessment codes. So anytime you want to take the strengths assessment again or introduce this to someone else, I can give you a $10 discount. Just message me privately. I'll send you a link and I'll get you in. Other than that, my friends, don't forget, I'm going to go ahead and put the registration link to find out about the 7.0. I've got a 5-day strengths challenge coming up next week. I really want to make sure you all join that. It's absolutely free. And we're going to be giving away some prizes, which is going to be amazing. And I can't wait to see you all on the next call. So have a wonderful day and we'll see y'all later. Bye, everybody.